Hey,
That's
hey,
like right when I was like, the way
The
you
chaos
turned
has
around.
begun.
I know because I realized I wanted a paper. I and I was like,
Hello,
we've been
There
on
everybody.
here
you go.
for 10 minutes.
This is
That was
going to
funny.
be a chaotic live. I can already sense it. Welcome to the Literally Dead Book Club live show for This Was June's book. This is my thriller, mystery, horror book club. Everybody wave hello. Hi. I usually have everybody introduce themselves, but I'm actually going to do that really quickly. And then I'm going to ask you to share your favorite thrillers with us. I am just really excited about the lineup here today because, first of all, we have Chanel, who this is the most recurring co-host of the book club. She's always down to read whatever, and I can always rely on her to just be like down to do it, and I really appreciate that. We have Bree, who is like my number one watched channel right now because she has been doing live shows that are just like insanely long. If you want like a comforting, just like hangout place to go, I put all the links down below. I just added them, so you might need to refresh. But like sometimes they're like 8 hours long, and it's just hanging out, and it's reading, and it's chatting, and it's like a very comfortable place to be. And then I have Paige, who some of you who've been longtime subscribers of mine will definitely recognize because we did a lot of wild live shows and readathons back in the day. And she is my oldest internet friend. It's been at least 10 years. And we were chatting recently, and randomly she was like, I'm reading your book club pick this month. And I was like, what are you talking about? So I had to invite Paige, and I think Paige might be coming back to doing some YouTube stuff. So I'm going to let her begin, maybe tell us a little bit about what she's up to, her favorite thrillers, and then we'll go back to Chanel and Bree for favorite thrillers.
Yeah. Okay, so I have been like on a real boring reading journey lately. So I have not read like current thrillers because I've been getting my doctorate actually. So I've been doing a lot of like article readings. But I love a good like Gillian Flynn type book. I really love I Let You Go by Claire McIntosh. Is that correct, Kayla? Love that one. And I've been reading some, what's her name, Kayla? Without Merit, the other one that I just
Colleen
read.
Hoover.
Thank you. Gosh, my brain. And so I just finished her. So but yeah, I love all types of thrillers. I love light thrillers, like horror. I love Stephen King. So yeah.
Yeah, I just sent you some reads the other day.
I'm really excited to read The Turn of the Key. Is that by Ruth Ware?
Yeah, I think you'll like that one. Chanel, do you have any updated favorite thrillers?
This year has kind of been trash, but the only thriller that has really shocked me this year was They Never Learned by, I think, Lane Horn. The one that you just had.
Yeah.
That's like the one thriller this year that I've been like, oh, like I haven't been okay. I'm still thinking about it. Like, I'm still thinking about that book. It was so good. I think all my favorite thrillers are still the ones that I read in like 2019 and like early 2020. I feel like we need more. We need them to hit like that. So
I agree. We need to do something because you and I have like the same list of favorite thrillers. It's stayed the same for a while. And like we need some new stuff. No spoilers, but the book we're about to talk about, The Lost Ones, definitely isn't in my favorites list of all time. But we'll get into star ratings in a second.
Right.
Bree, I've never heard about your favorite mystery thrillers.
Sorry. So I read primarily thrillers and mysteries. So just a tiny story time. My favorite thriller currently right now is Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter.
Oh yes,
Literally took me
so
out. And
good.
I remember when I read it, I was in Ukraine in Lviv in
Mhm.
this hostel and like nobody was in there and I was freaking out. So for
Mhm.
me, that really scared the crap out of me. So Pretty
Mhm.
Girls, I would say is a top one. Out by Karino Nasao. It's a Japanese writer. That one was very, very, very creepy. I have a couple, but if I'm thinking of like my top, those two, Out and Pretty Girls for sure. Oh,
Mhm.
and The Only Good Indians for sure. That
Yeah,
last chapter
Mhm.
was rough. It was rough for me
yeah,
for
that's a good
sure.
one. I'm so
Hmm.
excited about his 2021 release. I
Yeah.
cannot wait. Okay, so to get into um, The Lost Ones by Sheena Kamal, I would love to know in the comments. Thank you everyone for joining and chatting. I would love for you to drop a, what do we usually do? Like a skull if you read it, a heart if you didn't,
Mhm.
if you're just here to hang out. We're going to keep it spoiler free for a little bit. I know we're already 10 minutes in and I like to keep these like 30 minutes. So we'll see how this goes. Um, yeah, what do I just want to gauge who read it, who didn't. In the Goodreads group, I saw a lot of DNFs, which I think is interesting. And maybe we can talk
Mm.
through things we liked and didn't like. A lot of skulls. That's so exciting. Um, and then anybody watching this after the fact, comment down below and let us know all of your thoughts. Um, who wants to pitch the book? Let's see. I think Bree said she could sum this up for
Okay.
us. I'll hold it up.
Long story short, this is a story of a woman who gave her child away. I'm like trying to say without spelling it. Um, Gave her kid up, and she got a phone call from this guy, being very ominous and being like, "Hey, I need you to find my daughter." She found out that it was her daughter, and she's trying to figure out what her place is in this new daughter's life, like where she belongs. But then in her journey of trying to figure out her place in her daughter's life, she is reminded and being brought back to parts of her past that are very traumatic and life changing. So you go through the whole story of figuring out the tough decisions that she has to make that not only affect people around her and people who are helping her, but eventually the life of her daughter.
Thank you.
Good job.
I feel like
You got it.
I feel like I sum up books so terribly. So anytime somebody does it for me, I'm like, well, thank you. You did it. Okay. I appreciate all the emojis. I love just getting a gauge. If anybody
What was
needs
what was the emoji? What was the skull mean? What was
a
that?
skull if you read it, a heart if you didn't.
Thank you. Okay.
Lots of skulls because that's my theme, Um, okay. I guess like star ratings. Let's get into what everybody thought of it. Feel free to drop your rating in the comments. And if you are here and you need convincing, I would really recommend the audiobook.
Mm,
Mhm.
Maybe
Yes.
okay,
I
Yeah.
would
Yes.
maybe
more.
I
I
feel
would
like I'm a
lean
Yeah.
little
more.
biased because
No.
it's my favorite audiobook narrator, Bonnie Turpin, who does it.
Oh,
And
oh
I
my
love
God.
it so much. So I also
Yes.
left a link to Libro FM in the description if you want to sign up. It's a referral link, and the audiobook is on there for me. Okay, I
Yeah,
do see
Bonnie
some
is
DNFs.
amazing.
Yeah, I was thinking about
Mhm.
doing a video sometime about just like reading books that are just narrated by my favorite narrators because I feel like I've
Mhm.
never listened to anything by her and not enjoyed it. And I'm like, is it the book or is it Bonnie Turpin?
No, it's her. I hunt her down. I literally hunt her down. I have a list of me hunting her down. So live your
That's
best. I
awesome.
say do it.
Yeah, I do see some 5 stars, some 2 stars. I did expect it to be pretty low. That is what I see. This is one of the lowest rated books on my entire Goodreads. Averagely, it has like a 3.3 average, which is pretty low. Um, I gave it a 4. I
Really?
actually, I quite enjoyed this. But maybe it was the audiobook. I don't know. One of my questions later on is going to be, are you planning on reading the sequel? And I'll just spoil it right now. I absolutely am, because I'm very intrigued to see how her writing progresses over time. Okay, what's everyone's rating? Bree, you want to start?
I don't have it. I'm sorry. I don't have it.
What did you give it as a rating?
I gave it no rating, but not saying that it's trash, right? Or that it's garbage. What I'm saying is I am anywhere between a 3.2, 3.5-ish. That's what I'm saying. So I'm trying to talk to the group, the collective, and maybe I can get somewhere at the end. But at this time, your girl don't know.
She can't call it. She can't call it. I respect it. I respect it. I respect
that.
I'm just here. I'm here for the ride.
Let me try to
No,
convince you that it's a 4.
I'll go next because I feel you. So I gave it a 3. It was hard for me to finish. Like, it was slow. It was hard for me to get into the first person present. Like, I don't know. I didn't like it at first. That's just my preference. And then I did like how like atmospheric it was. Like, I think she did a good job like describing that Canada, and it felt barren. Like when she was driving down that long road and the highway, and I loved that. I liked that scene where, and then the car was following her, and like, but you didn't know it was following her. She just kind of hinted at it. I thought that was there was a lot of moments like that in it that I liked, but I thought for the most part it kind of drug on, and she's supposed to be this unlikable character, but she didn't. They kind of Kamal. She just kind of told me a lot about how she was an alcoholic and how she drank a lot, and I don't know. I just didn't get like in her mannerisms and the things that she did. It seemed more like, yeah, I've had a hard life. I didn't buy it quite.
It wasn't given what it's supposed to have gave.
I didn't feel her like I wanted to feel for her, especially with the. Yeah, we're not. It's spoiler free right now, but.
Well, I guess I'm going next, and so I originally gave this a 3-star, but then when I sat down and thought about it, it felt more like a 3.5 to 4. Maybe we'll see after we discuss. But the thing is, why I gave it a 3-star was because I was like, okay, don't know how I feel about this character or whatever. And usually when I read thrillers, I'm not there for the character. I'm there for the story and the tea. So when I like sat down and thought about it, I was like, what I liked was the storyline and the descriptions, the way you could feel the struggle. Like I felt like the author did a good job of making me understand what this character's motivations were. But I felt like the characters, like Paige said, the main character and then some of the other characters, I just didn't buy it. Like a lot of the things the author was trying to make me understand and feel, but the story itself, like the plot, is what captivated me. So I was like, whoa, where are we going here? So yeah,
there's a real mix of ratings. I love that. I actually I find it so much more interesting to talk about a book that people felt all across the board about, rather than just like, oh, we all loved it and let's just talk about all the things we love. Like, I love getting to dive into why people don't like things too. So I just realized something else that probably increased my rating is that this book was set where I live. I have never, ever in my life read a book set in the Okanagan. And this was like literally like that scene where she was like in the Enderby Hills and hiking through the snow. And then driving along that highway, like I've driven that highway, like I've been there, I've filmed in that city. Like I started reading this because I was filming an entire video about books that are set where I live. And I canceled the whole video because after this one book, I got everything that I needed. I was like, I'm so satisfied. Like, this is the feeling that I've always wanted, to like understand the setting and like feel like I recognize the places. So I also wanted to ask, have you guys ever read a book where set where you live?
Yeah. So I live in Kansas,
Yeah.
and Gillian Flynn, when she writes about like Kansas City and then that like small, I know it was a fake town, but yeah, that's kind of my area.
That's so cool.
I do this thing on my channel. It's called Nolans Reads because I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana. So I feel like a lot of books are set where I live. But I usually get annoyed because it's like terribly wrong. So I don't often feel seen because it's just like not giving at all. But I do understand that feeling of when you read a book and you're like, yes, give me more. So I definitely get that.
Yeah, I have read, so I've lived in a lot of different places, but my favorite place that I feel like is pretty much always done well are books set in the Silicon Valley, like in the Bay Area. I just feel like the the saltiness that authors have when they write about living like in the South Bay, like they just it makes me so happy because it's like, yeah, we all hate it, and I'm happy about that. like there's this thriller. I don't know if it's called Whisper Network or something. No, I don't think it's that, but it's a thriller that's like about the Silicon Valley and women in tech. I forgot what the name is, but like I just can't wait to read that because I know that it's gonna have so much bitterness. So yeah, but the places I love living, I haven't read anything that's like been set there. So
I feel like most books that I've read that are set in BC are set in Vancouver, which makes sense. And a lot of this book it starts out in Vancouver. But when she was like specifically mentioning like Enderby, like the city right next to me, and like describing what it was like to drive that highway, I was like, I can't believe like this is so cool. Like this is what people get to read when they just like live in Vancouver or they live in like Los Angeles. Like that's it's so fun. Okay, so for me, like this is cool because you guys kind of got a feel for where I live. Like that's what's kind of fun too, is that I forced a bunch of people here to connect with my location. Okay, I think we kind of covered everything we liked spoiler free. So
I have one more thing.
Yeah,
I wanted to add. I really liked how social issues were brought up in this book, and they were done so in an organic way. It wasn't so like on the nose, but like whenever systemic racism was brought up, or there was sometimes a talk about indigenous peoples were brought up, and just various issues. It just happened really organically within the story, but still gave that really important like social commentary, which I appreciated.
I completely agree. I'm sorry, you go ahead, Brie.
I thought when the character was talking about, or when the narrator, I can't remember which one, was talking about that feeling of being displaced. I thought that was very organic, and I don't know, I just felt like I resonated to it, and like knowing kind of where you're from, but like not knowing, and it kind of made me think of like my experience of being Black American, of being like, I know I have African roots, but like where, and like her kind of grasping to it, but also like being like, I don't really want to know, but just the complexity of it all and how it's not just black and white and there's so much gray area. I really resonated with that.
Same.
I think what I want to say is spoilers, so I'll wait.
We can get into spoilers right now.
Okay, so I'll say it.
Okay, everybody, you have 30 seconds to get out.
Yeah. I was like putting it in. So going back, because I read this literally at the beginning of June, so my memories are kind of hazy. So let me know if I'm off the mark. But the main character talking about her daughter, who was like the girl who went missing, right? Like the daughter who was adopted by this family. When they were talking about that, and then finding out that the main character is Native, just made it so interesting because you hear about like missing and murdered Indigenous women, and then so the whole time I was reading that book, I just really started to feel like this is the time in the book where I really felt like the character work was done so well because you really feel the pain of someone's child going missing, or like young women going missing. I mean, even obviously like as a Black woman, as a woman, like whatever, like female presenting, there's this fear of when you do go missing, like first of all, who's gonna look for you? Like if you're a woman of color, like who's gonna look for you besides your family? Are they gonna be taken seriously? And then the fact that the girl was a teenager, and you know, like when it is somebody who's not like a little kid that goes missing, people don't care as much because they're like, oh yeah, they're probably with their boyfriend or they're probably here, when there's like literally very dangerous things that can happen if you're missing for like even 2 hours, you know? So I felt like that part of the book was just so impactful, because I think like online you just hear people talking about, oh, like missing and murdered Indigenous women, missing women of color, like all the crimes that happen to women, and you just hear about it and you don't really like, if it hasn't happened to you or like in your family or people you care about, you might not know how scary it is. But I feel like this book just did such a wonderful, I hate to say wonderful because it wasn't wonderful, it wasn't a good feeling, but like it just did such an amazing job of illustrating that. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely cried on that part
Mm-hmm.
because I personally know people.
Mm-hmm.
So it was emotional to read that for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
I feel like you can really tell that the author like lived in Vancouver, and like especially for me, having like I go to Vancouver frequently, and Vancouver's East End is uh, it's very sad to see the the things that happen there, um,
Mm-hmm.
and I think her covering of it was like respectful and thoughtful and
Mm-hmm.
just like real and raw.
Mm-hmm.
And when she was when she was talking about I like the one quote I wrote down where she was like, girls who look like me are more likely to go missing, and
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm.
the
Hmm.
homeless crisis and
Mm-hmm.
everything going on. Is it was just like it was
Mm.
such an authentic experience
Mm-hmm.
to be reading.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we want to run through like some plot points for anybody who didn't read the book. Maybe we should go through like a couple things that happened so the spoilers
Mm-hmm.
have a little more context.
Yeah.
Yes. Where should we start?
Mm,
Where do we want to start?
Maybe. Well,
Oh, how
at the
about
very beginning. Ooh.
no? Go. You go.
We believe in you. We believe in you.
It's all
Well,
you,
I
girl.
was just gonna say at the very beginning where the parents come and they're talking to our main character and they're like, our daughter, this, like they were just kind of telling her. I think they like told her like they found her through someone. But anyway, they were talking about their daughter. And I just got such weird vibes from the mom, like from the very start. I don't know,
Yep,
like the
from the
way she
start.
was behaving, the way she was talking, she just reminded me of one of those people that just like adopts a kid with no care
Ooh.
of what that like actually means. Especially because that child is like, the family was white, if I believe so, but the
Yep,
child
they
is
were.
like, yeah, like the child, like I just feel like when you adopt a child that's not from your same background, whether it's racially, culturally, or whatever, there's extra care that needs to be
mhm.
taken,
You have a
especially
responsibility.
exactly like
Mhm.
especially if you're going to integrate that child into their culture, which you should. I believe that personally.
Yeah.
But I just feel like from the jump, the dad was just there, like he just gave me very lukewarm vibes, and then the mom was like
Hmm.
very much like, I can't trust you. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she
But I
ended up
felt
having an
like,
affair, right?
yeah,
I think
she did.
so. Hmm.
Yeah. But I felt like because they were, I think because they were also white, and because white children and brown children are treated differently,
Hmm.
and because she got those exact vibes that you're talking about,
Hmm.
Chanel, that she went that hard for her kid. She was
Hmm.
like, okay, these white
Mm.
folks ain't gonna give what I need to be
Hmm.
given, so I'm gonna go hard for this kid.
Hmm.
I also
Yeah.
feel like she felt like, I don't know, just as a mom, like give if I were to give up a child, I think it's more like, she gave that child up thinking that it would have she would have a somewhat safe and normal life, and
Right.
I think she felt somewhat of a obligation. And I loved how that kind of ties to her connection with her dog, Whisper, who I thought was a cat for like the first half of the story.
Not a cat.
I thought it was a cat. And then and I was like, wait, what? Wait, it's a dog? But I always thought it was weird. I thought she was taking the cat out on But I think that relationship, I like that symbolism of her taking care of and doing for that dog what she could never do for her daughter, what she felt she couldn't do for her daughter. Yeah.
I do think also one thing I feel like this book, touching on the mom thing, because I'm not a parent. Everybody who is, you guys are so powerful. Love that for you. Like, honestly, so powerful. But when I was reading this, I feel like this book touched on something that I don't see people touching on in a lot of books, like talking about. And it's like the perspective of the person who is the birth parent, like what it feels like. Because you could kind of feel the betrayal that she felt from like, I trusted you with this child and now she's missing. You know what I mean? Like the feel, like, because she starts out the book being like, well, I don't care because I like I put this child in your hands, like it's your job. And then over the course of the book, it's like she starts to feel this, like, you know what I mean? I mean, do I know what I mean? But
I'm sorry, everyone thinks Whisper was a cat.
I know, I can't ignore that now.
No.
I definitely didn't want to admit that I thought the same.
I did not. But I'm here for y'all. I also was ready for her to throw these hands with the mom.
Right.
We never got that scene. I was ready for her to give her the 1, 2, 3 combo, and that just never happened. I was like, wow, what a letdown.
Okay, I think something that I hear from people is that they don't like how like convenient the book was, and I definitely see where they're coming from with that because what was that guy's name? The guy she like hit with a tire iron.
Bazooka.
Bazooka, yeah.
Oh yeah, it was. That was his
Bazooka in my head when I was reading. Brazuka, something.
I think there were like some moments with him where it was like she was trying to get away from him, or she was trying to hit him, and like he was just miraculously okay, and like things like that. And then there were some moments where
I'm still stuck on the when they were in the boat and she tied him up and situations went down. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah.
A little steamy.
Yeah. That came out of nowhere, kind of. I was like, oh wait, I had to go back. Did I miss something?
Yeah.
I really thought I did too.
Listening to the audiobook too, I was like,
right. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I was like, are we really getting smart in the middle of all of this?
No,
like,
seriously. That's what I was thinking. I was like, wow, okay.
This was the moment that did it for me.
Yes.
It was like one of the opening scenes where she was like escaping and she like used like a belt and slid down. I was like, we're James Bonding this book.
Is Fast and the Furious. Okay.
But then I didn't like how they were like, oh, but she's like trained in the military, but she was there for like 2 seconds. So I was like, so when she get these skills?
The sharpshooter.
It's so funny for me. Like I don't seem to care about stuff like that. I don't seem to care about things that are plausible. I don't care about how ridiculous and over the top things are. I'm like, yes, you steal that car, crash it, no one cares. Steal another car, like you're really going for it. Okay, so she meets with the parents. They try to get her to help them. Then she goes. Where does she go?
To Windsor, to the tech company, right? To steal
You're really good.
I just liked that part because I liked singing.
I love that scene.
The singing, and that's another thing I wanted to hit on before we wrap up is the music element that she was the singer. But I wish that would have been in here more. Like it was in. She sang that song in that scene, and I think that's what the second book is going to be because I read the little blurb that she writes about that. But I would have liked to see more of that, like her talent, because it has a large part to do with what happened to her, right? Because she was singing and then she was assaulted. Wasn't it after a a performance? Did
I
It
think
I
was,
remember
yeah.
that correct?
Yeah.
I would have liked to see more references of her love of music throughout
Yeah.
the book.
I get that.
Mm-hmm.
I think another thing that people don't seem to like about it is that she like didn't really care about other people. Like when she stole her sister's car, and then there was that nice lady on the island, and she like took her into her home, and then she stole her car. And for me, that was a moment that I was like, I'm actually really glad. Like I love an unlikable main character. I find it actually really frustrating when I see reviews talking about this book was bad because the main character wasn't likable, especially because I only ever see it when it's regarding women. I've never ever read a book review about a man solving a mystery that goes, he was unlikable. He made poor decisions. I'm like, she did whatever she needed to do, and I fucking love that. I love that we didn't have this character arc where she like was redeeming herself. It was like she needs to steal this car, and that's what she's gonna do. I don't care how nice this old lady is in this house, and she fed her dinner. Like, do it.
I like how she was very unlikable, but I also liked how the author showed some glimpse of she did care about people. There was this one little comment when she met her sister, and she something about her sister told on her for stealing this chocolate, and she was like, I didn't even like chocolate, but Lorelai liked chocolate. Like she was stealing the chocolate for her sister, and I wish I could have had more things like that throughout the book too. I don't know, but maybe that's not the point, because then she would have been more likable. Maybe she doesn't need, like, that's all she needed. So that I
wanted her to throw those hands with the sister too. Maybe I just really wanted her to throw these hands, but I was like, beat her up in her house. Beat her up in her house. Beat her up.
But I think she loves her sister though. Like I think that's what makes
the sister was trash.
To me, I don't think Nora was 100% like an unlikable. She wasn't like the most unlikable character that I've ever read.
She's just complex and has a history, and
But that doesn't necessarily make someone unlikable, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people sometimes just pick up books thinking like, I want to connect with this character. I want to understand where they're coming from. And when somebody has experienced trauma and has a substance abuse problem and has a lot going on, like you're not always going to connect. And that's I would far rather read from such a complex perspective than feel like pandered to.
Yeah.
Okay. What else did I want to ask before? Oh, you know what I want to know? I want to know if there's any other books you'd recommend. Also, actually, wait, I feel like we need to talk about the end of this book.
Oh.
Because like for anybody who doesn't know what happened.
The cord blood from the umbilical cord.
That was
stolen
something else.
That was something else.
Who wanted the blood? That's the thing. Like who needed the stem cells?
Wasn't it somebody, this rich person who was trying to save their child or something, right?
Yeah, it was the man who assaulted her was married, and they had a kid, and the kid had some type of disease and needed a cure, and the cure was in the umbilical blood. But she killed him. So he's done now. The mom, I think, is done now. I think she died too on the boat, right? No? Maybe so? Kind of?
I don't.
The end is actually like the foggiest part for me to remember.
Right, me too.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
I don't think that.
I'm gonna have to reread the last like quarter before I get into this.
Okay, the
one.
Yeah. I will say one thing I've read. Oh, me?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I've read another book by this author, and I felt like brevity is not the strong point. It just takes forever. I feel like she just explains every blade of grass that I don't think need to be explained. So I think that's probably why people thought it was slow, because I felt like in another book I've read of hers this year, it was just too much information, I felt, for myself.
Yeah. I think if I didn't live where I live, I probably wouldn't have appreciated the atmosphere the same way, because there was a lot of description. It was like, it's snowy and it's foggy, and I look around and I see the trees and they're also covered in snow, and look, there's more fog, and like it was a lot of description and a lot of like internal dialogue for sure. That's a great
And
point.
I'm an English teacher, so like I like that, and I've been really focusing on like writing, and so I enjoyed like the atmosphere part of it, but I can see how people would how it did slow the book down. Like it slowed the read down and it made it harder to get through. I can see that.
Is there any books or movies that you would recommend that were similar?
So I pulled this book. It was a stretch for me because remember, guys, it's been a while since I've been like in the book game. But for some reason, this book kind of. Have you read this one, Kayla?
No, you recommended
Has
it to me like literally 5 years ago, and I still haven't read it. Is it
Has
like
either-
snowy and road?
No, it's like a investigation. Like she has to she has it goes by a different name, and like the husband dies, and then you find out, and then she goes on the run, and it's like a mystery when she's kind of like investigating. I don't know. It was the first book that kind of, when I thought this book, I was like, oh, this one was kind of similar. Also, like, I don't know, they kind of have the same vibes, cover vibes ish.
I see it.
Roads. Lost passenger. Okay, I'm done with my recommendation.
No, that's good. I've actually
The
had
only
really good
recommendation. Yeah. I feel like I keep
go
interrupting
ahead.
people. I'm so
No,
sorry.
go ahead, Bree. It's okay.
Nope.
Go ahead.
Chanel, it's your world. Do what you want to do.
I was about to say I feel the same way, so I'm interrupting. But so I guess I would recommend two different books that kind of give me the same vibe, especially if you were to combine them, which would be impossible. But I would say Night Swim. I can't remember the author's name, but I really enjoyed the investigation aspect of that book. And
Same.
I felt like the character was just so interesting. And I felt like it had very important discussions about women, like the same way that this book did. And then I would say Sharp Objects. This one's by Gillian Flynn. And I felt like it has the same unlikable character and like somebody struggling with trauma and past and like things that have happened to them and trying to figure out what's going on around them while also dealing with their trauma at the same time. And that character is like Gillian Flynn novels, you're not gonna like anybody. So if you liked the fact that you didn't like this character, definitely that. So yeah, Night Swim and Sharp Objects.
Love it.
I would say I don't think I'm in the thriller realm when I say this or genre. The character, I love I love a female character who's been through the struggle. I don't know if that's because of like myself and my profession being a therapist, but like I just love complexity. I just love it. So for me, I'm gonna say Queenie. I really felt like her and Queenie had similar complex, like just really just trying to figure out life and struggling. Like the struggle was real. So just the character aspect, not the ambience and all the other extra stuff. Or
I
ambiance,
have seen this compared, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, as far as like a similar main character. I've never read that series, so I don't know.
Me neither.
I don't want to pull too many here. That's what I always do. But if you want like a snowy, like this is just a snowy vibe. These aren't similar in any other way. But if you liked the atmosphere, I would say No Exit and One by One. These give those. This is good because there's like a survival element. There's like a saving a child element. It's there. I don't read a lot of like detective stories. So I was really surprised that I actually enjoyed this to begin with. It was very much like here's the mystery and I have to solve it throughout the book. I typically don't enjoy those. So that was really exciting for me. I want to recommend, because I know a lot of people talked about how they appreciated the indigenous conversations in this book. I think if you want to read a whole mystery revolving around it, this is YA, but it was really well done. Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Bully. I would highly recommend this. Obviously, like Reese herself is a big fan, so it can't go wrong for you. And then I wanted to recommend The Girl in 6E, but this has been a long time since I've read this. But I feel like there were some similar elements as far as like a woman going after something. There was a little bit of like adult, mature like themes. This one goes a lot further, obviously. If you know the plot of it. But I feel like this would be a good like transition if you're into it.
Someone said Blacktop Wasteland. I really liked that book. The only thing I will say is it was the same. Like I don't know. I just don't like reading books where I feel like I have to go through all the states in America to get to the point. That book was dragging. It dragged.
Yeah, I also typically don't like books where we're on like a road trip and we're traveling a lot. So again, like this book had a lot going against it. So the fact that I enjoyed it is like a little surprising. To wrap it up, I just want to remind you guys what we're currently reading for the book club. This one also takes place in a vehicle.
Yeah, I finished it. I finished that one.
Me too.
So good.
Oh my gosh, I haven't even started yet, and it's the last day of the month, and this is
it's so good.
So
it's so good.
Oh my gosh, that's exciting. Okay. And then the following month, we're reading For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing. Which
I just checked that out.
I feel like there is a trend with the book club.
I'm always ready. Sorry, go on.
Yeah,
really on it. Reading unlikable main characters. That's a thing that I've really forced upon a lot of you this year. So, and then just as a little plug for Chanel's book club, I am co-hosting for the Echo Life, and the live show is on. I wrote it down. August 14th. Nice.
I'm still waiting on that book to come in. Chanel, I'm still waiting on that book to come in from the library. It's hating on me. It's hating on me.
Do you have Hoopla? Does your library have Hoopla? It's on there. That's where I checked it out.
Oh my God, you are telling me something. Hold on. I'm like, I'm like, oh my God.
You definitely have some time, everyone, if you wanna check it out. I have a lot of thoughts. I'll just tell you that. Many thoughts. I also read it for a vlog that you'll see soon, so that'll be fun.
Fun.
I think that's about it.
Oh, it is on Hoopla. Nice. Look at me borrowing right now.
I think it's also, I want to say it's on Libro FM.
I think so.
Let me check if anybody, yes it is, if anybody has a account for there too.
Wait, Libro FM?
Yeah, the link is in the description of this video in case you want to use my referral link and sign up.
I'm gonna try. I've tried to use it before, and I feel like it wasn't user friendly, or maybe I wasn't the user that was friendly with it.
You get a free book when you sign up, but then you can just like cancel your account if you don't want to continue.
You know, I got like 17 emails. I'm about that life.
Oh my gosh. Okay, thank you everybody for watching. I think I don't know if we covered everything we should have covered, but I really enjoyed hanging out with all of you. I enjoy having like a good amount of people to like chat with and hang out with. It makes my weekend more fun. And we will see you later.
All right,
bye.